see Lauren? Can everyone see Lauren's screen?
Yes.
This is Brett. I'm actually remote just on cell phone. I'll be back in front of a PC in about 5 minutes. So I'll let you know then if I can't.
Sure. And Lauren is recording this, so I think following this this session, she'll be sending the video out so that it'll be a good aid for people to use.
Yes.
All right. I think at this point, just take it away. We have a number of people on.
Okay.
Herberto focuses on the suppression side. James Buckley focuses on the sprinkler side. Brett focuses on the security side and fire. But I think you have a number of sales reps. There still are more. For some reason, they're not calling in. So why don't you take us forward, Lauren?
All right. So what you're seeing right now is Sales Pilot, and this is our sales estimating tool. So when you start using Sales Pilot, you'll also, of course, be using Salesforce. And we have the option in Salesforce to create agreements, create quotes from Salesforce. It brings you into Sales Pilot. So this is the dashboard in Sales Pilot where all the agreements that you've created would be. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly since we only have a half an hour. Instead of creating a brand new one, I'm just going to go into an existing agreement. So over on the left is where all the information goes for the specific agreement, and each agreement is what we consider a contract. So what you're going to have the customer sign. And on each agreement, you can have one or more design. So you can actually create several system designs for a customer on one contract. So if a customer requests to have an access system and a camera system, you can put them all in one, and you can have as many designs as you want. Same as sites, you can have multiple sites as well. Each design would create its own project or job number in what we call Mastermind, which is our billing system. So when you create an agreement from Salesforce, it's going to automatically fill in the customer tab for you. If it's an existing customer, it will list the search of Mastermind on the right, and you can actually select it, and it will pull that information in for you. And same with site information. It's going to automatically hit the same as customer. If you are doing a new site that is separate from the customer address, you would just uncheck it and fill it in. Or if you're doing an existing site, it would automatically list all of the existing sites for that customer. So I'm just going to use the same as customer for now. I'm going to skip over all this information. That's pretty self-explanatory. It needs monitoring information, emergency contacts, and go straight down to design information. This is
Can I jump in here real quick? Sorry about this. This is Brett. I'm getting redundant. I'm on my cell phone hearing this, and then my computer's kicking it out. Is there some kind of special way? I'm just hearing double.
I muted you. You have to keep, if you're dialing in, you can't be on your computer as well. So I just muted your computer.
No, he can. Yeah, he can be on the computer. He just needs to mute his audio on the computer, which is what I'm doing. Doing the same thing Brett's doing.
That didn't work. Yeah, it's still kicking out of my. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but so if I need to chime in, maybe I can write or something. I'll just hang up from the phone.
Yeah, you can either use your audio on your phone, or mute your audio on your computer, or mute yourself and use your dial-in.
All right. Yeah, I'm just hearing it double. Just go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so design information, this is where you would name your design, and that's helpful if you're creating multiple designs. You would select your design type. I have several different designs in here, design types. Select the sales type. And based on the type of customer or site, there would be different options here. So it could be like new owner, existing system activity. So that's all logic based. Same as job
Hey,
type.
Lauren?
Yep.
I'm sorry, it's Dennis. So is this going to work similar to how we do it today, where a new installation is new construction, or is this just a new installation new to ADT?
This is a new installation, brand new system that the customer doesn't have currently.
Okay, so for tax purposes, how does it know if it's a new construction or retrofit?
That I don't know. I'm not sure how the taxes work. We pull
Okay,
it from
we'll
the federal
circle.
program.
Yeah, we'll circle back. On ours, that sets the tax basis. So obviously it's different here, and I just want to be clear on that.
Okay, yeah, we use this a tax program called Vertex, and it's based on the just on the site, the zip code.
Yeah, but it has to know what type of installation it is, because use tax or sales tax, either one may be appropriate depending on whether it's parts and smarts or new construction versus retrofit. There's other variables besides the state.
Yes, we are adding an option for use tax, but it's not going to be calculating the tax directly in Sales Pilot. It would be done after the sale through Oracle.
Hey, Lauren. Yeah, Lauren, can you just restate? I mean, obviously there may be more things with regard to some of the questions Dennis is asking. This is very, very explicit and very specific to change orders, and you know, I think that's what you're trying to accomplish.
Yes,
Correct?
definitely. So
right.
Dennis, I can get with
Yeah.
you after the fact. We can.
Yeah, I didn't mean to disrail it. Go ahead.
All right, so once a job is created, it would show the job number here and the job status and when it was created. And this one is actually a change order that I had created earlier today. So that's why there's already a job number for it. The equipment, this is where you would add equipment, and all you do is hit the select equipment button, search for it. You can search by any way. You can do manufacturer, model, part, description. We also have some options based on groups. Once you find the parts you want, you just add it either to the in-house category, and in-house means that it's going to be installed by our in-house technicians, or there's also a column called contractor quantity. So if you're having a contractor install it, you would want to keep this column up and add it to that. And that means it's going to add the part, but no labor.
Lauren, this is Umberto. How about if the parts are not on the database?
So if there's a new part that has not been added yet, and our database has over 200,000 parts, but if it's not in there, there's an option at the top to hit request additional part. And then it goes to our procurement team to add it.
Perfect. And because I noticed in suppression, there's quite those are different from your typical fire alarm system.
Yes, and I believe they're going to be adding all the parts that you currently have active before you come in here. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Labor, it's automatically going to add the labor for the parts that you added. So this one has 6 hours worth of labor hours. You can add additional. I had added this earlier, but you can add additional labor just by hitting the add additional items, type in your description, and type in the hours. And then it totals the hours for you. If you're doing a contractor or any other expense, you where it says other expenses, click on that. You hit add expense, and then you type in the contractor name. Select the labor type. So there's business meals, there's lifts, there's large equipment rentals, installation, that would be the sub work, license, permits, locksmiths. So there's a bunch of different options in here. So this is where you'll put any other expenses. And then services, we have a list of all different types of services, and they're all broken out into categories. And Red Hawks, any that aren't already in here will be added as well, including all of the inspections. So this is going to be totally changing. And then the sales information, this is where the job costing is. It shows you what the gross job cost is, the book price. This one's currently set to a lease. So this is the book install charge for a lease. And then if you're commissionable, it would show you what your commission is. And then you have the option to offer it as an outright sale as well. So you can pick either one. And all you do is use the toggle. You can change your gross margin. So if you wanted to make this a 40% gross margin, you just type it in and it will automatically change your install. And vice versa. If you'd rather change the install charge, say the customer has a budget of only $6,000, you can type that in and it will automatically change your gross margin. We have several places to put scope of works. All you do is type it in here, or you can copy and paste if you had a template. Internal scope is just for operations, doesn't show up on any customer documents. And external scope goes on customer documents. We also have inclusions, exclusions. I don't have any in the test environment, but you can add inclusions and exclusions as well. And then we have some designs options. You can save it as a template if you ever wanted to use it again in the future. On the overview tab, this is where you would submit it for approval. So once it's ready to go, you submit for approval and it's going to go through all our validations. Make sure you filled out all the required fields. If anything is missing, it will tell you that what's missing and you can click on it to go back to that section to fill it in. If you need help with the design from the engineering department, you can hit create design request and fill out the form, and it gets assigned to an engineer to help assist with the design. Of course, market is lost. Sales team reviewers, this is where if you need to split the commission or production with some other people, you'll have the option to do it 3 ways. So you would add them at the top. Reviewers, this is if you want somebody else in the company to review your agreement. And this is different than approvers. Approvers will automatically get an email when it's waiting for their approval. Reviewers, it will just list it in their review bucket on the dashboard saying there's one that they can review if they need to. So I'm going to submit for approval. It's going to do all the validations. And if it passes validation, it would say at the top, pending approval. So this one is missing a bunch of items. So I can't submit this one until I've fixed these items. So I'm going to skip over that. This is the contract. We also have a proposal. So you can, if the customer just wants a price but it's not ready to sign yet, you could send them a proposal. Or if they're ready to sign, you can send them a contract. So this is the current contract, and it's going to be changing to the Red Hawk one. And once it's in pending approval status, you have the ability to send. There's a button that says send e-sign to customer. It sends them an email with a link to be able to sign it electronically. Are there any questions so far?
So far, so good.
Okay. All right, I'm going to open up. I think this is the one I did yesterday. So once you have a sold agreement and you need to create a change order for it, there's going to be 2 ways to do it. You can either do it from our job management tool. There will be a button in there, or you can go into the original job, and on the overview tab, there'll be a button that says create change order. Also, you'll be able to see down at the bottom, you'll be able to see the original job, this one sold and integrated, and any other change orders that are on this one. So I already created a change order, so that one is listed here. You can click on any of them to go into them as well. So if I wanted to create a second change order, I just hit create change order. It's now changing that to order number 2. I can see if there's more than one design, you can select which design you're doing. This one only has one, so you just select it and you hit create change order. It's going to create a whole nother agreement. But it will link that agreement to the original job.
Lauren, will that generate what ADT calls a rider?
Well, now it's going to be called a change order. So a rider is if a job's already closed and they want to add additional items. A change order is if a job is still open and they want to make changes before the job is closed.
Gotcha.
All right, so here's the change order 2, and it would show at the top, this is now change order 2. And it's okay that change order 1 is still open, so you can send out more than one. So if I want to go and do a negative, like say they now, this one had 5 keypads and 2 glass break detectors. They decided they only want 4 keypads. All I'm going to do is change the column to 4, or the quantity to 4. We are adding another column that will say original quantity. So you'll always know what the original job quantity was and what you're now changing it to. We haven't gotten that one added yet. So now when I go to contract, and hopefully it's still there, we were working on this yesterday, it should only show the difference. So here we removed a keypad, and so now you're doing a change order for a negative $411. So does that all make sense?
Yep.
And then you just go through the full process. Go to Overview tab. If you need to make write anything in the scope of work, you can add that. Go to Overview tab, Submit for approval, send it to the customer to sign. I'm going to bypass credit just so you can see.
Lauren, while that's refreshing, it's kind of hard to see in my screen, but if you wanted to deduct one item and add another item, you'd do that from the same screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, and then the contract would just show the difference in price from the original job.
And it would not, but it would document the changes too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This one. In a test environment, you can't send to a customer. I just wanted to show you the e-sign process real quick.
Just to confirm, would we be able to send the proposal or the contract while it's pending approval or after it's approved?
While it's pending approval.
Okay, thanks. I thought you said that.
Yes, so it will only go into the sold status once it's been approved by all parties. But you can send out the contract. It just has to be in pending approval. It can't be active.
Thank you.
And I think I broke it. Any other questions?
This is Jim Buckley with in the Taunton office. As far as the sprinkler quotes go, so we'll have individual parts and pieces for lengths of pipe and sprinkler heads and all that type of stuff too, like a security quote.
I'm not sure how that's going to work yet. I think that's still in discussion.
Okay. And then my other question was, does Sales Pilot work in conjunction with Salesforce,
Yes.
Or do you need to use both applications?
So Salesforce is where you would create the lead and opportunity. And then once you hit generate quote, it will create an agreement here. And then from here, anytime any pricing changes, it updates Salesforce automatically.
Okay.
And then the status, if you change it to, if it automatically changes to sold, it will do that. And same with lost. It will automatically update the lost.
So they talk to each other.
Yes, currently.
Okay.
And forecasting is all done in Salesforce.
Okay.
Jim, this is Chris. Great question. So just be mindful that we are rolling out Salesforce on the ADT commercial side as we speak. The Red Hawk Salesforce will be around for the next couple of quarters. And eventually it will come. This will all be on one platform. I just didn't want there to be any confusion.
All right, and one more thing with the e-sign, you also can have the customer sign on your device. So if you're in front of the customer, all you have to do is hand them your device and they hit get started, and they can actually sign right on the device for it while you're in front of them. If you're not in front of them, you just go to options and you hit email, e-sign, invite, and it will send them an email.
Pretty sweet, Lauren.
And you can also download it if you want to get a hard copy signed. So that's pretty it for change orders and for a really quick run through of Sales Pilot. We have a couple minutes left. Is there any more questions?
So Lauren, just repeat, what's your ask for the sales reps on this team and by when?
I would like everybody to create some agreements in Sales Pilot, push them all the way to sold. I've given the account access to all the approvals, so when you go to submit for approval, you'll get a bunch of these. You just keep hitting approve, 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 and then once it gets a job number, it will automatically get one. Create some change orders. And would like to see feedback on how easy it was or how hard it was. If there's anything that can be improved, is my documentation I'm going to send you. Does anything need to be changed on that to make more sense? Just standard feedback. Does that make sense?
So you're going to be providing us access to Sales Pilot?
Yes. I'll be sending that out right after this meeting.
Great, thanks.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else.
I have one more generic question.
Okay.
So when I went back to like the first inception of the project, if we're working with a general contractor, we work on a regular basis. The customer name would be, for instance, like Consigli Construction, and then the site name would be where we're providing that installation project, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And we have the option to link agreements. So you can actually link agreement if you have a customer with this and two different customers with the same site. So if one is the general contractor and one is the actual owner, but the site is the same, you can actually link them together. So if you're doing a service agreement for the actual owner, but the installs by the general contractor, it can be done by linking agreements.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Hi, Lauren, this is Brett. Can you hear me?
It's very quiet.
Is this any? Jesus. Never mind.
Did we lose you? Okay.
Brett, we can hear you, just it's a little soft, so go ahead.
So I thought, it's just repeating for me. I thought we had done this previously. I created some quotes in Sales Pilot, and they came out as Protection One as well as ADT and Red Hawk Look. Are we doing something different this time around?
This is specifically just for create and change orders on an already sold agreement.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so I will send you all the directions and the credentials to get in. And as soon as you have time to do some testing and can provide me feedback, that would be great. And I thank you for your time.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.